Stage 1, pressing for flight.
Launch Drifter on countdown 1. We are go for launch.
Yes, sir. Reading you loud and clear. Clear. The clock has started. The clock has started.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Welcome to Pressing for Flight, live from the Space Coast, where the schedule never holds. We are now less than a week away. I've been looking forward to be able to say that for so long. Okay. I really hope that next week we're not talking about a scrub, but as it stands right now, we are 6 days away from Bob and Doug taking a ride on a dragon. And that's most of what we're going to talk about today. First,
launch America, baby.
Let me go through everybody.
What's going
on? We got Mr. Stephen Kegel right here.
Hello, all.
We got Mr. Matthew Jordan.
What's up?
As well as Matt Cutshall.
Launch America, baby. Woo!
And the beloved Julia Bergeron.
Hello.
If you asked me a couple of days ago, I was going to be like, oh, yeah, I figure, we'll go no guest, it'll just be us talking about how excited we are. But then I was like, it would be kind of cool to get a local and, that's as excited as we are. And I think has never seen an astronaut launch or.
I have never, because I moved here after Shuttle and we never traveled here for Shuttle. So
I thought
this is literally my first human space flight mission.
Yes, yeah. I thought that was the case, but I wasn't sure if you had said that you had come down for a shuttle launch. So yeah, we're not all first timers.
No.
I know Kegel grew up here and he saw a bunch of shuttle flights, so we'll probably kick him out here in a minute. But
I'll just let you guys go.
Spoiled brat.
I'm pretty sure Matt Cutshall has only ever seen him from Orlando, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen the actual. No, I've seen two. One of it like halfway up, and then the other one was just the smoke.
Yeah. Matt Jordan, have you seen him before?
Not in person, up close and personal. Oviedo, I was a manager of a 7-Eleven, and I got to see a night launch, which was pretty cool. I believe it was the very last night shuttle launch, and that was possibly the most amazing thing I had ever seen up until going and seeing Falcon Heavy.
Right. And now, of course, this, to anyone that's ever seen a Falcon 9 launch, yes, visually, this is going to look like any given, Falcon 9 launch. But I think that there's going to be something special. Like, I expect it to kind of harken back to maybe like the first launch I ever saw, but more intense. Because the first one I ever saw, I was like super nervous just because, you don't want anything bad to happen, And I don't feel nervous yet. I've heard other people say that, they're excited / nervous. I don't feel nervous at all. I really feel like SpaceX has done a great job, and they've shown that even if something does go wrong, that the abort system does work. And we'll talk about the different abort modes and stuff. By the way, I just got a text from Becca. Her power is out because we just had a storm come through here, and she said that her power's on. She's firing up the computer, so she'll be here in a minute.
Yay.
Yay.
So before we get too deep into the DM2 stuff, I did want to highlight the launch that we just had. We had an Atlas V launch. We talked about it last week with the X-37B. It didn't go off the first day. We had a very interesting day of scrubbing where we found out about an hour. Becca's here.
Hey. Hello.
Becca, Julia, Becca, I believe.
Nice
Hello,
to
Becca.
finally meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Where's your microphone? Is your microphone in front of you?
It's right here.
That's what I thought.
Man, came out of nowhere.
So we found out, like, I don't know, what was it, like an hour before the initial launch time, that there was actually a backup window on that same day, right? Like that came out of the blue as far as I was concerned. I didn't know about it, and so it's like, okay, the first window looking like garbage. Took a nice little time lapse, posted that up on Twitter. and then went back out to the beach for the second one. And they were doing something that was a little bit different than what we've seen before, where they were waiting until the last minute, literally the last 60 seconds, to make a call on the weather. And they used a term. What was the term? They said "go pending," and I actually had the NSF feed going because they were just talking constantly. If you listen to the ULA feed, then it's like you get a little here, a little there, but they had all ears on every channel that they could possibly have for information, and they were giving out that information as it was coming. So I was listening to the NASA spaceflight feed, and they were clearly like they didn't know what they'd never heard that before. And well, come to find out, let me stop this video back here. Chris G did talk to Tori. He got to talk to him on the phone, and what he found out was the only weather issue that they were working was ground winds. Everybody thought logically that there was a cloud issue and maybe wind shear or whatever. We thought that there were other issues, but the only thing that they were having was ground winds. And so they decided that they would give it until like the last 60 seconds to make that call on whether or not to go ahead. And they did end up scrubbing for that day, but I thought it was really interesting that they have that capability now to, as long as everything else is in place, then they can give that go at the last second. So that was interesting. So hopefully that'll be something that in the future turns into a go situation, where the weather is super iffy, and then right at the last 60 seconds they're able to
Just
say,
wait it out.
Go ahead.
And that's really actually kind of interesting that it was ground winds, because maybe had they had solids on there, ground winds might not have been an issue and those parameters wouldn't have been broken.
Wait,
but
say that
without
again?
the solids, it takes.
Oh, the solids.
It would have
They're
been
kinda breaking up.
interesting to see, yeah, because in this situation we didn't have solids on this rocket, right?
Right.
And that means this particular rocket takes what feels like forever to clear the pad.
Yeah. So it's a little more susceptible to the ground winds.
Potentially wouldn't have been.
Yeah. I wonder.
Right.
Are you on Wi-Fi or tower right now? Because we're getting some roboting.
I'm tower.
On the tower.
I'm tower.
Oh,
yeah.
damn, I think you'd think it would be better because we're getting a little bit of robot from you. I don't know if there's anything we can do about that.
Beep bop, beep bop.
Beep boop.
Beep bop. Let me make sure everything but this is closed. Is that any better?
It just goes in and out. Right now it's fine. Yeah. So we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, so without the solids, it takes a little longer to get up, and when the rocket's still moving slowly, those ground winds can kind of push it around a little more. Was the point, right? So,
Yeah, that's it.
Well, cool. All right, yeah. So X-37B, it's out of here, and we won't hear from it again for probably 3 years. Who knows? Last one was up there for 780
days, 780.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was
I
like
have
779 in 13 hours or
Yeah,
some
yeah.
ridiculous number like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So
Did you set your Google Calendar to remind you when to listen?
for Sonic Boom,
Absolutely.
well, I don't. They'll have to let us know, won't they? At some point. Don't they give some sort of a warning?
They usually give like a 2-day
Uh,
warning.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
there was no EOC warning before that happened. It just happened.
yeah, I don't remember there being one either.
There wasn't.
I know there used
I remember
to
There
them
might have
saying
been a-
something for the last one. They said something on the news radio channel here in Orlando, DBO.
There could have been a range alert, but I don't remember seeing like a Brevard County sort of an alert come out
be. Yeah.
like they do for launches. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing I knew was one morning I woke up and there was an email with 2 pictures of X-37B sitting on the runway.
Yeah.
That was it.
We're like, hey, something came back.
Yeah. Hey. So it's back. Okay,
What it
so
was doing, nobody knows.
let's.
I'm interested in the particle energy beaming thing that they're testing out on this one, though.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty cool.
What is that?
Ditto.
What are you talking about?
So basically, they're working on a way to take solar power from space, which doesn't get messed up by the atmosphere and dissipated and changed as it comes down. Getting that pure solar power from space, collecting it in a satellite, and beaming it back down to Earth
Right.
is the idea. I don't know if that's going to work practically, but from a theoretical standpoint, that completely can be done. Probably not at the kind of profit they're thinking, but it can be done.
Yeah. Just kind of the razor's edge of what's
Yeah, I
possible.
mean, if they can make money off of it, that's just another way to make money off of space, and that leads to bigger investments in space, and I'm all for it. So
Why don't we
Absolutely.
just get rid of the atmosphere?
Yeah.
We don't need it.
I mean, we're working on it anyway, right?
yeah, we've been working on that for
Momentarily.
It's about time we get
10,000
a little
years.
help.
We need clean power. Get rid of the atmosphere.
Oh man, everybody knows hoverboards don't work on water. You need power. I watched that last night or night before or something.
Yeah, it's Back to the Future 2.
Back to the Future.
Yeah, man, the best one.
Yep. Yes, it is indeed.
I
Heavy.
don't think I've ever seen that one.
What? You haven't seen the second
one
one?
with- The one with the almanac.
All right, we got to shut this stream down and
The
watch
fourth
Back to
Almanac?
the Future Part 2.
I'm sorry, did I just lose my nerd
Live watch
credentials?
party.
Right? Watch party.
Yeah.
Why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
Ah, what a move. Okay, let's talk about this. Some launch is coming up. Actually, on the way home today, I noticed that there's this bike shop on A1A, and on their marquee it says, May 27th, Falcon 9 launch, park and bike. Like you can park there and
Yes.
then ride your bike to wherever you want to watch from.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty neat. But I thought it was interesting that there was no mention that there are people on board. It's just Falcon 9 launch. Hey,
There's limited space on that board.
yeah,
I saw that board.
you did. Yeah, I mean, I love it. I love seeing the marquees, like the Cocoa Beach Pier. A lot of times would be like, come watch the launch, with us and that kind of stuff. I love seeing that kind of stuff. Of course, this time it's a little different. You're like, I don't want there to be too many people in Brevard. I don't want in 2 weeks. I don't want to be like we have a huge outbreak. Like we've been staying pretty low on the COVID count here, and I don't.
Well, all the out of towners are coming, and then they'll just take it with them.
Oh, is that?
That's
Let's
what
hope.
happened
Let's
with the
hope.
spring breakers. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, oh, bye.
yeah, but they'll leave it here. They'll
Just wear your mask when you go out, I guess. Or
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not so nervous about the launch. I think I'm nervous about the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's there's just so limited space to watch this one
Yeah.
that even with just the locals and the folks who can't go out to KSC that would work out there that normally could bring their families, they can maybe go out there, but their families can't.
Well,
So you just have all of those displaced people.
this kind of skipping ahead in terms of like my little vision of a timeline here, but since we're talking about it, we might as well go over this. Port Canaveral did put out their like viewing guide, and folks, there's a lot of stuff closed at the port for this, and Jetty Park is out of the question if you don't already have an annual pass, because they're not selling annual passes and they're not letting anybody in that doesn't already have one. And they're only allowing 50% capacity. And if you're watching the stream, you can see that there are all kinds of places that are closed. You know what? This is where they're building.
a lot of that.
They're building
you
a
can't get
terminal
to
right
those
here.
places anyway.
Yeah, this is the new Terminal 3 that's coming, which by the way is going to be all space related. Like it's going to have like streak shots and stuff like that.
So it can be the Carnival cruise if they're still in business.
That's where Carnival's going to go.
Yeah.
So they're going to have 3 Carnival ships here.
Carnival.
I don't know if they're moving or there's 3 of them.
Nope, it's a brand new carnival. Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
But yeah, And I noticed right next to that, the green that was kind of in between jetty and there, that's the boat ramp.
That's the boat
and
ramp,
I can almost guarantee you the locals are going to have that filled with their boats by, oh golly, middle of the night.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Because they're all going to want to go out to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
And then down
It's
here
that-
you've got the other map that's like over by like fish lips and stuff and the exploration tower. Parking at the exploration tower is closed. This is all grassy areas over here, but that's all closed. The only parking that's open is actually the parking for the restaurants for fish, and then of course the big parking lot that's across the street from the restaurants, and then Gators is open, but that's Gators customers only. And they've made it clear in this little bulletin thing that there are going to be police officers out there enforcing this and not letting you park wherever you want. So, just for most people, I think the best idea, if you're not already here, just watch from home. Probably the best idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of the people that are going to come probably already have their plans, and you're not going to talk them out of it. But that's the thing. There's not a whole lot of options as far as launch viewing, and if you come, it's going to be a madhouse.
Oh yeah, plan to hang out.
And that was just like the south area. If you're talking the north area, Playa Linda Beach is not an option. You won't be able to go past the Max Brewer Causeway.
Right. I actually went out to Playa Linda, or I was going to go out to Playa Linda tonight after work. I drove all the way out there, and I was thinking, okay, I'm going to cross over Max Brewer, and if Playa Linda's closed, surely there'll be a sign. And there was the normal sign is, the National Seashore closes at 8. I'm like, good. And on the other side of the street, there was a digital marquee that had nothing. There was no post on it at all. And I was thinking, all right, cool. So maybe Playa Linda's open, and it was like 6 o'clock. Like, okay, get out there. Hopefully get some pictures of Falcon on the pad. And, gate is closed. So forget about Playa Linda.
That this morning if that was open.
Do what?
Yeah. I would have beat you to that if that was open today.
Yeah. I mean,
no. And even then, honestly, I don't think Range would have left Playa Linda open for this launch.
Yeah.
Just for range safety reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're basically the roadblocks start at the end of the Max Brewer Bridge, and they also are at the north end at the Haulover Canal.
Mm-hmm.
And that starts the night before launch. So it'll be just like the first Falcon Heavy.
Yep.
People start lining up at about 10, 11 o'clock at night to claim their causeway spots, and they camp out overnight.
Yeah.
By the time you wake up in the morning, that ridge, all of the parking along the causeway will be gone.
Right. Yeah.
So
that
leaves US 1. I don't know what to tell everybody, but that leaves US 1.
Yeah, if you do, and we are in no way encouraging anybody to come. We just understand the reality of it, that some people are, and US 1 is going to be a madhouse. The beaches might be okay, but you're not going to see liftoff from Cocoa Beach or Cape Canaveral.
The Kennedy Space Center Visitor Center, that's closed.
Yep.
It'll open the day after
next
launch.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's because I don't think even when they do open, they're not going to be able to handle big crowds with the staffing they'll have.
No,
they're not doing bus tours.
No.
I mean, it's very minimum.
Yeah,
they lowered the price. You can go there for $30.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they're not running everything.
And I'm sure.
Oh, sure. You went to Saturn V Center. Yeah.
So you won't be able to go over there, right? To the Saturn V Center?
No buses.
Not without a bus.
Yeah.
No bus.
Yep.
So there you go. And viewing from, and this is only hypothetical if there's a scrub, because if they scrub, the backup day is the 30th. Watching a launch from the parking lot of the visitor complex, or even inside the visitor complex, is not that great because you can't see the pad. Right? I don't think I've ever.
You'll see it once it lifts off and feel it more, but that's about it.
Yeah, you'd be fairly close, but anyway, if you're on the fence of coming out here, I would say just watch the stream. And there's going to be watch parties, you can get on board with. I know Launch 360 is going to be doing a watch party. I know NASA Spaceflight's going to be out there streaming. I would suggest just be on your computer with multiple streams going And actually, I
Have that big screen.
At
Yeah.
different angles.
if it
Sort of.
works, I'm gonna stream from out there too. Maybe just to conserve battery. Maybe like 30 minutes to an hour before. I'm not gonna like do like a show, or like be a host. I'll talk to you, but I'm not gonna be trying to. I'm not gonna try to be Chris G over here. Okay, it's more like here's. Here's just another view that you can have. So there you go. If you watch the show, if you listen, and you want just a different view, and you're sitting on a computer and you want to have multiple streams going,
How are they going to find you?
right here on this website, YouTube.
I didn't know if you were going to do it on your Twitter or what.
Oh yeah, no. I downloaded the Streamlabs mobile version, and it's actually pretty good. And I did a little test stream. And I can stream, like, how on YouTube, I don't want to spend much time on this, but on YouTube, you can't stream mobile from the app unless you have X amount of subscribers, which that reminds me, if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button.
I want to see that go up.
That like button. But anyway, yeah, I can actually stream from the mobile Streamlabs app. And it's got a cool little thing where, because, the iPhone 11 has the 3 cameras. It has a little button where I can pick which lens I'm using.
Ooh.
What?
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's pretty neat. So I can do a wide view, and maybe you'll be able to see some of the other media people out there.
Can you use all 3 at the same time?
No, I don't think so. I think to do something like that, you'd have to have someone sitting at home at a control panel and to do something like that. But we're not really set up for that. Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, so I'm going to stream from wherever I'm at. It's an undisclosed location as of yet.
We're not telling.
But it'll be a good one. It's a good spot.
Yeah.
I
It's a good spot.
might stream from the press site. We'll find out.
Oh, yeah. Did you find it? Yeah, see, Kegel has this job that sometimes allows him to go to Kennedy Space Center. It's not a media thing, but it still puts him in the same spot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty neat. So hopefully he'll be nice and close too. Okay, let's see. Let's go through the timeline here. Last Friday night, Dragon arrived at the at pad 39A. Oh, I should have had that video pulled up. Oh well, we're not gonna watch a video. So this is just some pictures that SpaceX posted, or actually I guess it was the Kennedy Space Center that posted these. Of Dragon going in, and man, this thing's big. I actually do. Oh well, the video that they posted
right here that I printed last night.
Oh, cool! Very cool. You gonna paint it?
Well, not right now. I just printed yesterday.
Not right now. You're not gonna paint it right now on the show.
No, I still gotta go buy some supplies.
Yeah. So Dragon has arrived, but not only that. Oh, I've got this in the wrong spot. Where did that picture go? Oh, well, I'll just look it up. It's on the SpaceX page.
Just share the picture that I sent you in the messenger.
Which one was that?
Hey, Boeing.
Oh. Yeah, so they have integrated Dragon.
It is pretty tiny, Clevy.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
I've stood next to one of these guys, and without the service module on it, it's not that big.
I should. Here, I figured out the other day that I can pop out chat in like a little window.
Ooh, that's cool.
I can't
look at
see
you.
I can't see much of it, but I can see a little bit. Where am I at? Yeah, but this is just awesome. Now, weren't you guys talking about which boosters these were on the left side over here? Somebody
Yeah,
figured it out?
On the
Yeah,
desk
I mean, well, I made a post asking, I was like, all right, let's play a little game. Let's name the boosters. And a couple of people got it right.
I
of
think
which ones
that
they
this
are.
is the one that last launched from 39A. The one right just to the left of Dragon.
The one next to the wall, the real sooty one,
No.
I think that's 51.
I can't remember the number, but the one that last launched Starlink from 39A. The one that's just to the left of Dragon.
The one with all the spots.
Yeah, the one that kind of looks like bird poop. Like that. When we were out there setting remotes, I was looking at it and I was like, That looks like bird poop, y'all.
That is bird poop.
I don't think that's bird poop.
I don't think it would make it.
You think? I don't know. I don't think so.
Did they just like dive bomb the rocket the whole time? Like,
Well,
No,
couldn't
they'll,
land on
they'll
it and
sit up
grab
on the
it.
top side of it, waiting for fish. Like it's a good spot to like float on top of when it's out to sea.
But it's not
It'd
horizontal.
be more up top.
It's not horizontal.
Or
when it's
if
at
they,
sea.
well, they store those things outside too, man.
Sometimes, yeah. Well, anyway, yeah. So that's just a beautiful
That's
shot.
bird poops.
Ben Cooper, pretty sure who took this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, I can tell you. Hold on, I'm looking it up to say exactly what order those are in, because I can't remember. I
Got
think
all my stuff all out of order.
there we go. All right, so we have 51 is against the wall. Right next to that is 59. So I think you're thinking of 59,
Okay.
and then 58 in the middle, and then the brand new spanking one on the other side of the wall is 60.
Oh, the brand new one. Okay, I was gonna say 60. We haven't had a 60 anything yet.
I know. I saw that. I was like a 60. Ooh.
You don't think there's any possibility that's a Falcon Heavy center core, do you?
It may be.
'Cause we
The
can't see
legs.
top
If
of it.
you look at that booster, so not only do you have, and actually, who was it? It was Chris B that actually pointed out. No, not Chris B. I'm sorry, Thomas from NASA Spaceflight. If you look at the end of the of 58 here with that has the dragon on it,
Mhm.
on the very end you'll see a Merlin sitting on the ground, and then underneath 60 you actually see legs. You actually see the legs that they haven't actually integrated onto the booster yet.
Yeah.
They're like tucked right up underneath it, but you can see them on the ground.
Oh, okay, yeah, just sitting right up
See it?
underneath
Yeah.
there, yeah.
And on the far end, you can see sitting right on the ground, on the very, very end there, you can see the Merlin, just a lone Merlin sitting all by itself.
Wonder if that was the
Poor little fella.
troubled Merlin from that one launch.
They're punishing it.
Naughty Merlin.
You stay on the floor.
You sit in the corner.
That's what I was thinking when I saw it. I was like, yeah, that's probably the faulty one.
Yeah. Let's see. I just showed the little time lapse that they did. That's where that one went. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so this is pretty neat. So they just did this today to trying to keep with like all the stuff that happened kind of in order. So they raised it vertical on the pad and they swung out the crew access arm, and I'm wondering if it's going to be vertical from here on out, because I know that this weekend Bob and Doug are going to do like a full dress rehearsal, put on the suit, get in the Dragon. They're going to go through the whole count. I don't think I don't think they're going to be on board for the static fire, but they're gonna do that. So it might just be vertical this entire time until launch.
Yeah.
That's why I couldn't drive by the pad yesterday. When I was leaving a job site, I was going to drive by the pad, and SpaceX had it all closed off.
Oh yeah, you think they were?
That must have been
preparing?
why they're probably getting ready to move that out.
Yeah, because they did this
Close it
today. It
up.
was actually kind of early, right? You can kind of tell by the way that the angle of the sun here that it was early. But I remember waking up, I think, to people tweeting about it.
I think it was 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I saw. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, of course, our good friend Gavin has been tweeting out anything, fleet related and
He's been busy
movements and
lately.
stuff. Yeah. So Ghost Searcher has left the port, and they're going to Pensacola. That's going to be their spot for a potential abort situation. And there's actually a few different spots that are around the coast. Let me see. I have a map. Yes, I have a map. So these are potential landing sites. Now, I'm not sure if these are just for abort situations or if these are just for like a nominal splashdown at the end of the mission. It's probably both.
Those, I think, are mostly just abort situation.
Okay. So is
mean-
Go Navigator going to be off of our coast then?
That's my assumption. Yeah, that we're going to see Go Navigator off the coast for the pad abort situation. And then obviously we don't have enough ships in the fleet to cover the rest of those. So that's where the Detachment 3 from the Department of Defense comes in, and the 904th Rescue Group. So they can deploy and be with the astronauts within an hour of an abort situation where they splash down and are needed.
And if they were needed, is it just they just use a crane and just pick them up out of the water, or do they just hang out with them until like Go Navigator can get there? I mean,
no, it would be a full rescue situation where they would deploy the little front porch. Like I know they invited media to one event where they showed what would happen. They'd make sure the capsule was righted. They would deploy what they call a front porch, which gives them a workspace right outside the capsule.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. It's kind of like
so
like
the
scuba
904th
divers.
is equipped to do that.
Yeah. Okay.
And they don't have to wait for the fleet to get to them. They would just take over the full rescue operation.
Yeah. I guess that was kind of a silly question because there's other abort scenarios on down the line that go all the way up to, in fact, I think Chris G wrote it, but NASA Spaceflight has a great article on the abort scenarios on what if there is an abort and at what stage each abort situation takes over, and they have spots all the way out to just off the coast of Ireland.
Yeah.
One of the things that is still kind of a mystery, but they've let a little bit of information out about it, that there are like 50 locations like around the globe in that trajectory where they could come down, and there's a certain percentage of these places, and it's undisclosed, but there's a certain percentage of these places where the weather has to be good before they'll launch. Do you have a better clue on that? Like how, can you say it any better than I can? That's
no, I mean, you said it. It's like Shuttle, where they have to worry about the downrange weather,
right?
For that situation. But you explained it just like Chris wrote it. There's 50 locations. We don't know the percentage of what has to be nominal for recovery efforts if there were an abort, unfortunately.
Yeah. So
yeah.
It'll come down to weather, which launches always do. But this is not just the weather at the Cape. This is weather at a lot of different spots around the world. Now, that doesn't mean we'll definitely have a scrub. I mean, obviously they're going to get off the ground eventually. 135 shuttles got off the ground. So they will. These things will line up. NASA's pretty good about having lots of contingencies. So I think that's why they have so many options, but only a certain percentage need to have that right kind of weather for them to launch. Let's see. Oh yeah, I had this map that Gavin made where it shows these spots, but it's an interactive map, and so you can zoom in. And what really excited me, because these are also like whenever they come back from the end of the mission, this spot right here is, and I measured it on Google Earth. I was going to have it pulled up on Google Earth, but Google Earth just bogs down on my browser. I don't know why, but this is about
power.
This is about 35 to 40 miles off the coast, just depending on where you like. It's like 38 miles from the port, but I live down here around 520, and it's about 35 miles from there. So I'm thinking that whenever they come home, I might be able to see their parachutes or something,
35 miles? It depends on the atmosphere.
I won't see them all the way down, all the way down to the water.
No.
But might be able to, if it's clear enough, might be able to actually make them out coming down. I think that would be so cool.
That'd be a good shot, man.
Yeah, I think for
do they put out a map like where you can't have a boat? Is there like
for the launch? Yes, I have.
No, but I know that part. The landing.
Yeah,
there will be, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but I don't think it's out yet. Is it?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
That'll be put out the week before it happens.
Right. Let's see, I do have a map. Where is this map?
Because that we know, I can always ask my buddy that got a boat. Maybe he'll take us out. Kind of hover around the border.
Now
Yeah,
I'm
right.
just flipping through. Oh yeah, here we go. Speaking of hazard areas, we do have the hazard area. Don't
Yeah,
go
for the
inside that
launch,
green
yeah.
line.
Yeah, don't be the reason. Don't be the reason.
You don't want the Coast Guard flying up on you.
You have a
Oh,
lot of
they
people
will
mad at you.
totally rotor watch you too. I've watched it happen from the water, and it is hilarious. Do not be the one to get rotor washed. No.
What is rotor washing?
Oh, they
Oh,
bring the
they'll
helicopter
take the
down right next
helicopter
to you.
right down over your boat if you won't listen and get out of there.
Oh, wow.
It's
Oh,
called
yeah.
rotor washing because, well, you're taking all the wash from the rotors.
Wayward Plane said tiptoes away.
Oh, yeah.
So do you have to stay out of the green box or is it the red? Do you know?
Let's see.
That's what Space Guard, Coast Guard, Space Guard.
Coast Guard security zone.
Zone active. I guess not.
Yeah, if you had to stay out of the red, then most locals would be out of bounds already.
The
You know.
purple area is the launch stay out area.
Yeah.
Okay. So the purple is the only thing people have to worry about, or is it?
Yes. There's also the red is a Coast Guard security zone, and then there's a safety zone is the green box.
So
So
I
you
bet
don't
you
want to
could-
go in any of those, right?
I think.
Yeah.
So I guess you would listen to Channel 16 and then they say,
Hey, that's the way to go. Channel 16, my brother. My brother.
well, yell at you on there if they don't want you somewhere.
Oh, they
Yeah,
totally will
yeah.
yell at you. I was piloting a submarine and got yelled at by the Coast Guard. It was awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
They go yelling at Coast Guard or at submarines?
They yell at anybody and everybody. That is their job. If you are in a VTS, you belong to them.
And also, we have the NOTAM, the flight restrictions. And basically, if you were hoping to be in a plane or a helicopter for this, forget about it. I mean, you still can.
Forget about it.
You can. You're not going to be very close.
Yeah, you ain't gonna see nothing.
I mean, you'll be looking through haze. This is an afternoon launch. Think about what time it is. It's 4:30 in the afternoon, and think about the level of haze that we get.
Yeah.
You know, like I was out there today. Just I knew that there was no way. I'm not going to get a great shot or anything like that. It's just out of excitement. I was like, I got to go up to Titusville and at least try to get a picture of Falcon on the pad. And I stopped at Kirk Point Riverside Park first. Kirk Park, Riverside Park, and man, it was so hazy, and it was a little bit later. I think it was like 5:30 or 6 that I was there, I think, and it's just so hazy. Now I realize that if you're up in a plane, you're up above the haze a little bit more, and but you got to be like 30 miles away. Or actually 35. It's 30 nautical miles, which is 35
Does this
human
exclude
miles.
Superman's flight? Can he fly by?
No, he's fine.
He can go.
Yeah,
He can check it out.
Yeah.
He can help it if it has an issue.
Yeah. Well, he's just going to catch it while it's in flight and help propel it and chuck it.
Just chuck it.
Like, go.
You guys want to save some fuel?
Yeah. Let's see.
So both of the I'm trying to load this horse up. Hold on.
Okay.
Did you hear it?
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
sleepy today.
So, but yeah, it took me a minute to get there, and I didn't want the conversation to move on. So both of those red lines, you can't be in a plane inside those lines. Is that what I'm to assume? Or the red
I don't
circles?
know.
Yeah.
I think it's just the inner circle. Maybe
There's probably an altitude limit too. Also,
that could be. Because whenever I measured
if
it,
you're over the coast.
I measured it on Google Maps. I measured 35 miles, and it was about where the inside line or circle is, because it goes down about to Melbourne, and it goes up to about New Smyrna, and it goes west out to about Oviedo, which is right there. It didn't encompass Orlando, so I'm not sure.
and all of those, the airplane symbols are airports.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, so how is that going to affect, do you think, the airport in Orlando or any of them?
No,
I mean,
they're just route traffic around it.
Yeah.
That's not a problem.
Yeah, you can't take
just any of
off.
our local little airports. Just nothing's going on.
Yeah, they'll be grounded. Yeah, they'll be sent to their room. Yeah.
And keep Merlin
And I will say, with
company.
our flight we did the other day, the flight that we did the other day, if you're planning on trying to shoot this launch from an airplane with the turbulence as bad as it is during that time of the day, yeah, you ain't getting no shots.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
You
you
ain't
said
getting
that
no
you were
shot.
having a hard time because it's just so much vibration.
With the 600 trying to, it's just, you're up and down like a boat. Same thing. You're just up and down, and you can't focus on anything. You're moving too much.
Okay, Seth said the outer circle starts at 1,500 feet. So that's, what is that, lower than 1,500 or higher than 1,500? Need some clarity there, Seth, buddy.
Get the pilots.
Wait, I think Seth does a job that does things like this. So hold on.
Well, yeah. He's an app developer, but he might have some insight on this. Just because of, I don't know who he works for, but
Just don't fly over there.
well, yeah, just
Basically, don't be a wayward plane.
yeah. Unless you are a wayward plane, and then it's okay. But wayward plane has promised to stay on the ground.
But I do believe that
Seth was
wayward
AFK.
plane promised.
He
So
wants
yeah.
to tiptoe a lot, though.
All right, what is next? Oh, I wanted to play this just because hearing this guy's voice. I'm not. How do you say his last name? Nevias, Rob Nevias. He's been the commentator for NASA missions since I can remember. You know, he's always the one talking through the streams and all the launches and stuff. But I just wanted to hear his voice again. So here you go.
Florida at the Kennedy Space Center for an historic launch, Launch America, coming up 1 week from today as the Demonstration Mission 2, DM2, aboard a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket gets underway with NASA astronauts Doug Hurley and Bob Behnken aboard this new Crew Dragon spacecraft. Hurley and Behnken will be flying to the Kennedy Space Center this afternoon for an arrival on the old shuttle landing strip, the shuttle landing facility at the Kennedy Space Center. They'll go into crew quarters for the final week of preparations prior to their launch. There's Doug Hurley, the spacecraft commander, and Bob Behnken, who is the Joint Operations Commander. They will be sitting side by side in the brand new
The
ready
video
to
cuts
launch
out right there. I don't know
next Wednesday, May 27th at 3:33 and 31 seconds p.m. Central Time, 4:33 and 31 seconds p.m. Eastern Time on that historic mission, restoring a launch capability from American soil on an American spacecraft. The crew again preparing to leave their crew quarters here at the Johnson Space Center and to fly down to the Kennedy Space Center later today for their final preparations.
I love that man's voice.
It is very good.
Let's see. Yeah, Daryl said, voice of my childhood. Clevy said, I love this dude. Yeah. And Harry said, I want to be like Rob when I grow up. Drink. Yeah. Yeah, drink. Seth said, drink, question mark? All right. Might as well.
Yeah.
Is that going to be the new drinking game every time somebody says on American rockets from American soil?
Oh, that's what he meant. Yeah. That is the drinking game. I think that's what they do on Ruds. Anytime anybody says that, you got to drink. So
don't watch the news for the next week. You'll be drunk all the time.
just be loaded.
Especially News 13 because everything's in a loop on that channel.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, you don't have to, Becca doesn't have to worry about that. She said she's never seen Channel 13 ever.
I've never seen a single
you gotta have
news
cable though.
episode
Episode
in my town.
I've never seen one episode of news.
Never saw an episode of the news. 13.
So he was mentioning in this little clip that Bob and Doug would be arriving at the Space Coast the next day, and guess what? That day arrived, And Kyle, our good buddy, he was on the show a couple weeks ago. He got some shots of the Gulfstream coming in. Lucky some buck.
That one, the landing gear was just starting to come out.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
That's so dirty.
That's great. I wonder if he did that on purpose, or if he chose that
shot
one.
right there.
Yeah, that's great.
Wait, where's the bird? Where's the bird?
Yeah, where's the bird? Supposed to pick the one with the bird. He picked the one with the power lines instead. Birds hang out there.
Well, I mean, that is technically a bird, I guess.
A bird. Yeah.
Bird-like.
He did get a picture of a bird up there.
Yep, he sure did. And then
no, it's a plane.
And this is what you're dealing with when you're looking through the haze, is this atmospheric distortion here. And then just I had this just kind of time to show Bob and Doug coming out of the Gulfstream. They just hopped right out as soon as that door opened. They're like, "Bam, we're coming out." The dude that rolled out the mat did not have a mask on.
Naughty.
Either of them.
But he also ran away. Well, they don't need him because they're in quarantine and the masks protect others, right?
Yeah. It goes both ways. I almost expected them to come out in the moon suits.
Yeah. So they gave a little. Sorry, what?
I was gonna say, if they want to be like really safe, don't you think they would protect the air they're breathing in too?
Well, according to the experts, the mask is only for people that might have it to protect others, like Dr.
Because
Fauci.
you can breathe it in easily, but when you speak out, it collects in the mask.
The mask is there to catch droplets coming out of your mouth. Yeah,
not you breathing in.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, with them being in quarantine, as long as everyone around them has them on and is keeping their distance, then they'll be fine. So yeah, so we're not going to sit here and watch the whole press briefing.
But also, they got to have their photos. They can't have their faces all covered up.
Yeah,
historic event. 40 years later, people are like, "Why are these astronauts wearing masks? Silly little masks."
Oh yeah, they'll.
And they got to go back to the history.
In 40 years, bro.
All right, let's see. I wanted to go over. Oh, see, we already went over that. Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. We wanted to hear our great and powerful president talk about his plans.
I'm thinking about going. That'll be next week to the rocket launch. I hope you're all going to join me. I'd like to put you on the rocket and get rid of you for a while. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Steve.
I think you can tell he was censoring himself.
He should have been a comedian.
Ladies and gentlemen, the most powerful man in the world.
Yeah.
He don't like the press.
No.
They don't like him.
Very true.
All right. And then let's see. Where are we at here? Yeah, okay. To kind of wrapping it up, the mission timeline came out. And so I just thought it was interesting, to see what they're going to do and when. So a little more than 4 hours prior to launch, that's when they get their last weather briefing. And then see if 4 hours before launch is when they start putting on the spacesuits. And then
that's when I'll eat a heavy lunch.
And I guess it only takes 38 minutes because at T-minus 3 hours and 22 minutes, that's when they walk out. So yeah, it only takes about 38 minutes to put the suits on. For some reason, I thought it would be longer than that, but
now with the new suits, they're not as complicated as the old suits.
Well, before they did their flight suits, do you have any idea how long it took to do the flight suits for Shuttle?
Ooh, could find out.
Yeah. See.
So I need a time when I need to go to work out there. I'm gonna go around 3 hours and 15 minutes before. Maybe I can see the drive by in the Teslas.
Do what now?
That'd be cool.
I said when I go out to go work, I should when they're about to transport. That's the time I come in so I can see them go by in the Teslas.
Well, that will be.
Wait. Where are they going to the old processing or in the NASA side? to suit up, or are they just doing it right there at the right next to the pad?
No, I do believe they're doing the traditional walkout from that building.
Yeah, it's
at
Okay.
KSC.
Yeah, from the Neil Armstrong Operations and Checkout Building. Yeah, so that's where they'll be putting the suits
So I
on.
could plan it. I can drive up as they're driving out, maybe.
Yeah, you'd have to pick a smart spot to be because they'll chase you off if you're in the wrong spot.
No, that's where I got to go. So
Oh,
you're gonna get behind it.
okay. So yeah, so they'll walk out, and then let's see, 7 minutes later they'll leave. So let's see, T-minus 3 hours and 15 minutes. That's going to be 4:18. So at 1:18. That's when they start heading out to the pad. Right? Am I doing that right? 1:18.
Yeah.
And it takes about 20 minutes. Right? Yeah, about 20 minutes to get to the pad. That's driving slow.
Because I want to take the scenic tour. I got to stop and see the eagle nest.
Yeah. Maybe see some gators.
On the tire.
Yeah.
Go see some manatees. Yeah, so 20 minutes out of the pad, that is pretty slow. Because what does it typically take from the press site? Like 5-10 minutes at normal speed?
I think it takes longer than you think, but I think they're going below the speed limit.
Mm-hmm.
I always forget how big Kennedy Space Center is.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say at least 10 minutes normal speed.
Yeah. It's like, 3.5 miles, right? From the press site to the pad?
Yeah.
Or 3 miles? I don't know.
Yeah, it's somewhere around 3 miles.
Yeah. And then let's see, the interesting stuff starts here. They arrive at the pad at T-minus 2 hours, 55 minutes, and then they get in. Crew ingress. So if you don't know that term, crew ingress means to get in. That's at T-minus 2 hours and 35 minutes. And by this time, the stream's already going to be going. So the stream starts at like 12:15, I believe. So you'll already be tuned in, checking it out. I'm sure they'll have the whole drive out of the pad. That's all going to be on there. Let's see. So crew ingress to 2:35 and then to 2:20. So 15 minutes to actually get seated. And then they do their communications check.
Check.
And then about 5 minutes later, they do, I guess they rotate the seats into the launch position.
The uncomfortable looking position.
And then things kind of, just proceed. They close the hatch. At T-minus 45, now this is going to start feeling familiar to anybody that follows these launches, because at T-minus 45 minutes, that's typically when they do the go, no go for propellant load. And if you don't know, this is different from other past human launches, because typically the rockets are fueled prior to the astronauts getting out of the pad and getting on board. But SpaceX does the densified propellant, which means they have to be able to load the propellant like late, like 35 minutes before launch. That's when they start loading. And that was kind of what are you doing? That was kind of a point of contention a little while back. Like a year or 2 years ago, there was a big hubbub about how could NASA take this chance, with SpaceX doing their late loading. And they looked into it, and obviously SpaceX had been doing it a while, and they had several launches. I mean, they probably launched 20 times since that whole thing, maybe even more. And they've proven that they can safely load the fuel in the last 35 minutes. And also the argument in favor of this is that the astronauts can already be in the capsule with the escape system armed, so that while they're fueling, if anything does go wrong, the Dragon will abort. It'll be what's called a pad abort.
Rocking them off.
And yeah, take them off. They'll land just off the coast, be easy recovery. It's so, this is not a big deal. NASA's totally signed off on it. So yeah, and then this is going to be a normal countdown, and we're not going to have any scrubs. There's not going to be any issues. You can take my word for it. Take it to the bank. Wherever
the weather for that day keeps changing every day. You look at the forecast.
Wherever you take things, take it there. That's my promise to you. There'll be no problems. And then, don't forget that NASA is going to be doing live coverage from the time they start at 12:15. It's going to be continuous coverage all the way up until, they said till docking, but I'm just going to assume that they're going to, I'm sure, stay on the air for hatch opening, right? For, Bob and Doug to enter into the space station. Yeah, I mean, they always show that anyway. So it's going to be about 24 hours or more of continuous coverage of this. I'm hoping, maybe there'll be some kind of, interaction on board, because I'm sure Bob and Doug will have some downtime where they don't have to, they're not like pushing buttons and stuff. I know they have some tests that they have to do. They're going to do some maneuverability tests. Make sure
they have to sleep too.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, I guess I was listening to, I don't know, one of NASA spaceflight streams, and Chris G was talking about it. He's like, the trick is you just have to sleep when the astronauts sleep. That way you don't miss anything. Yeah. So that's going to be neat. I've arranged it that I've got whatever those 2 days are. If it's Wednesday, Thursday, or if it's Saturday, Sunday, I'm good. I'll be off. I can just focus on that, watching Bob and Doug.
Hey, the horn.
The Bob and Doug show.
Yeah, I hope they have something. I do like an Apollo 13 style little show there on board. And people will be watching this time.
Aw.
Yeah.
You've got a world that's looking for like new and interesting stuff to watch, because we've been watching the same old sports and stuff and new television shows like they've been playing these NHL games from like 1993 on TV.
Oh, you can watch cornhole tournaments. That's exciting.
I am down with some cornhole tournaments. I actually pulled out my board and started playing after I watched the last one.
Well, that's what ESPN's doing now.
I mean, all of ESPN is turned into the Ocho.
The Ocho? Oh yeah, from Dodgeball. Is that right?
Oh yeah.
Of
course, Fox is starting up the chase tag next week.
The what now?
They have a show that is ultimate tag. Like tag that we played when we were kids. Yeah. And it's like this obstacle course where you have to like climb on things. It's like American Ninja Warrior meets American Gladiators.
Oh. All right. I'm down.
Yo. I like watching World Chase Tag. So World Chase Tag is the bomb. If you like watching some parkour, World Chase Tag is where it's at.
Oh, it's already out?
There is a different association based out of Australia, actually, that runs World Chase Tag, and it's basically like it's just playing tag.
I'll dig it. Is there anything else? Does anybody else have anything that we should bring up right now?
Let's see. Japan launched the last of the HTV resupply missions.
Oh, I didn't catch that was the last one.
Yeah, it's the very last one of the HTVs that they have. They're expendable, so they don't get reused. That went up, and it's also going to be the last time that they launch the H2B booster, and they're going to, next time they launch is going to be on the H3 booster.
Cool.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll. Julia, do you know where you're going to watch from?
I am loading up my little red wagon and walking from home to US 1. And as much as US 1 scares me, I can walk away from it too. So we're good.
Right. Becca, you know where you're going to watch from?
Probably work, but hopefully not. And if not, maybe from my backyard. I don't know. I haven't exactly decided yet.
Backyard, you can go to the beach.
Yeah. That's my backyard.
Oh, I thought literally your backyard apartment.
That's what I call it.
Yeah. Well, Stephanie's in there. Hello, Stephanie. I just read her comment up further. I won't read that on the air.
Yeah.
He didn't say that.
I was like, that comment That
Well,
comment and
I'm not a
cornhole
mumble
go
mouth,
hand in
so.
hand.
I mean, it did sound like he said that. I'm not gonna lie. That popped in my head too. Stephanie wasn't the only one.
What did he
Maybe
say?
I did.
He said cornhole tournament?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's been a show then. If nobody else has anything, I think we covered it all. I'm like, okay, yeah, all right. We burned through it.
Yeah, DM2 is kind of sucking all the oxygen out of the room when it comes to the space stuff right now.
Yeah, but that's good. I don't care. It's and honestly, when I found out that Starlink was being moved to sometime after DM2, I was like, okay. I mean, I'm ready to just focus on DM2 right now. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it happened to fall on, like, if they actually were going to go on Tuesday, that would have worked out for me because Monday, Tuesday are my days off. But when they, who was it that noticed it first? I think Gavin pointed out that that they were moving away from the landing zone for Starlink, and it's like,
Yeah.
looks not looking good. And then,
yeah, they moved out for the weather, and then as soon as they made that south turn, Gavin's like, "Oh no, they're coming home."
Yeah, definitely coming home. Yeah, so Starlink, whenever they can launch it, whenever it doesn't matter. Media.
I thought the last post would be after demo 2.
Do what?
It will.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It'll
yeah.
be after DM2. Right?
Yeah, sometime after. They haven't said when, but it's sometime after. But that's fine. I'm just so excited for DM2. I was fine with. That's fine. We'll wait on Starlink. I don't care. What? Michael says Starship has crane activity tonight. Interesting. So there's no testing. They have been doing some static fires over there. They did another one the other day and had a substantial fire underneath Starship. So that was kind of scary. Something broke off based on what they were saying on the stream, and it sounded like they were right. It seemed right to me. There was some little part on the bottom, like outside the skirt, that maybe broke off and was leaking methane out, and that's what the fire was. But SN4 still stands. All right, well, that's the show, y'all. Appreciate everybody in chat being there. And everybody, Julia, appreciate you coming with us on this little journey. And Keel.
Yes, thank you, Julia.
Always fun.
Hey, and remember, if you need just one more angle on next Wednesday for DM2, well, check out this channel, Pressing for Flight. We'll be here.
If you want to hear Steve-O and other random photographers talk in the background.
Right. Yeah, I was kind of thinking it'd be kind of neat to walk around and like talk to everybody and just kind of get their thoughts. I don't know how much I'll be able to do that though because we have to keep our distance. So it'll just be kind of like this show is, just kind of casual and not real well planned out, but just a different perspective.
That's how we roll.
Yeah, that's how we do it. All right, thanks guys. Play us out.
Shutdown sequence initiated. Shutting down.